Good morning, everyone. I will call us to order. It is now 9:32 a.m. Well, good morning. Do we have a quorum? I will rely on Jared, and Jared is nodding. So we do have a quorum. The quorum has been established. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Kristen Amundsen, motion to approve the agenda.
Fantastic. And do I have a second?
Diana Van Auken, second that motion.
Fantastic. Okay. Do we want to go back and do introductions, Melissa? Okay, fantastic. So we will do introductions. We will start with our Zoom folks and let them kind of go around.
If you want to call them out, Dean.
Sure, absolutely. I will call them out as I can see them. Dick, why don't you go first?
Hey, good morning, everybody. Dick Hyde with Community Intersections. I am a voting member.
Fantastic. Kristen.
Hi, everyone. I'm having issues with my camera, but I'm Kristen Amundsen with Goodwill of Colorado.
Fantastic. Anne.
Hi, I'm Anne Rajeski. I'm with the Colorado Association of Transit Agencies, and I'm here to share a little bit about some of our programs.
Fantastic. Diana.
Good morning, Diana Van Auken, Teller Senior Coalition.
Excellent. Emily.
I'm Emily Covarrubias with the City of Fountain Transit.
Paul.
Paul Spots with the Independence Center, System Technology Specialist.
Wonderful. Luke.
Luke Kerr with the Town and Monuments Planning Department.
Chelsea.
Chelsea Gondak, I'm the Director of Planning and Mobility for the Colorado Springs Downtown Partnership.
Excellent. Rosa.
Good morning, Rosa McCormick with the City of Fountain, ADA and Transit.
Jacob.
Hello, good morning. Jacob Matson. I am the Operations Supervisor at Mountain Metro Transit.
Glenn.
Good morning. I'm Glenn Krause, Transit Programs Manager for the Department of Transit and Rail, CDOT.
Fantastic. And then we have Jared. He's amazing in every way. And then do we have anybody else online? Or is that all the little bubbles I can see?
I think you caught them all, unless
Okay.
we missed anybody. Glenn was the one who came in last and you were able to catch him. So
Okay. Fantastic. All right. Well, then we will just go around in the room and introduce ourselves. We will start on my far right with Lois, and then we'll just kind of.
Lois Landgraf, representing the Resource Exchange.
Fantastic.
No, now it's on. It's on. So say it one more time when the red light is on. There we go.
Lois Landgraf, representing the Resource Exchange. I don't know that I'm a voting member yet.
Soon. Yes.
Mary Wagner, Cripple Creek Transit.
Diana Rumsey, the Independence Center.
And Melissa Martz with PPACG, Area Agency on Aging.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you all so much for that. I appreciate all of you taking the time this morning to meet with us. Number 3 is consent items. Approval of the minutes. Can I get an approval of the minutes from the last meeting? So that would have been the March meeting. Any motion to approve?
Diana Van Auken, motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Chelsea Gondak, second.
Fantastic. Outstanding. Do we need to vote on that to approve? Okay, so all in favor of approving the minutes from last March, from the last meeting? Say aye.
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 Fantastic. I got a thumbs up from Dick. Thank you so much. Any opposed? All right, hearing none, we will move on. Those minutes are moved and approved. All right, action items. I don't see necessarily any on there. So we will move on to number 6, which is membership appointment. We have.
Madam Chair, if I
yes.
could just back up,
Ooh, do.
we kind of skipped over public comments.
Oh, mhm.
I'll ask anyone who's online to use their raise hand function to let us know if they'd like to make a public comment. But in the meantime, we did not receive any advance requests for public comment. And seeing no hands raised, I think we're good to proceed to the action items. But just wanted to make sure we covered that base.
I appreciate you catching that. Yeah, because for whatever reason, my eyes just kind of kept moving down the page. You are invaluable. I don't know what they're paying you, but it can't be nearly enough. Okay, so membership appointments. We do have Lois here with us, so we will recognize that appointment. Recognize City of Monument jurisdiction appointment. We'll start with Luke Kerr. How about that? We'll do these in order.
And so, Madam Chair, this is interesting. Being a council of governments, we have a couple of different ways that we have people become members of our committees. One of them is we have all of the member jurisdictions for the Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. These are the towns and the counties that are official members of the PPACG. Those entities can actually appoint someone to be on a committee. And so in that case, the town of Monument has appointed Luke Kerr to be on the MCC. So at this point, the MCC is just acknowledging that membership has been presented and he will go forward. The other membership kind of category is one where the MCC can vote on a provider making a recommendation to be a part of the MCC. The Resource Exchange in the past has been a provider member with MCC. It's been quite a while since they've had someone come. And so we are fortunate that at this time, the Resource Exchange has presented Lois Landgraf to be a member with the MCC. And so that one we can vote on. And I'd like for her just to take a minute and just kind of share a little bit about her experience and what brings her to both the Resource Exchange and to the MCC.
Fabulous.
Thank you. First of all, just a slight correction. My name is 1F at the end, not that it matters. Sometimes it's S, sometimes it's 2 Fs, but to be correct, it's 1. So I am on the Resource Exchange. I'm a board member. I took Sarah Jack's place when she was term limited. I was a state representative for 8 years and ran some legislation that has proved to be pretty impactful. The biggest one is what they call the wait list, to attempt to get people who need benefits and services off the wait list. I do have a son who had a brain injury when he was 17, so he is a client of the Resource Exchange. He's now 48 and requires full-time care. We care for him at home. And Sharon Thompson, Mayor Thompson, who's a very good friend of mine, called me one day and said, you really should be part of the Mobility Coordinating Committee because transportation is such a huge, huge issue for people with disabilities who have special needs. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm on the Resource Exchange Board. I am chairman of the legislative committee for them, and I'm really trying to get the group more involved in what's going on in our state, because I think it's important for not just the organization, but for donors to know that we're really trying, and being part of the MCC is another effort to really try to pull it all together and have an impact. I was not prepared to speak. Anyway, that's why I'm here.
Well, thank you so much for that. And we look forward to your contributions. And we're so incredibly honored that you were able and willing and interested in joining us. So thank you so much for all of that. Yeah. Okay, so I will move forward with a motion to recommend membership for Lois to the group. Do I have a motion?
Rosa, City of Fountain, first motion.
Thank you. And do I have a second?
Dick Hyde seconds it.
Fantastic. All right, well then it has been moved and seconded. We will now take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Fantastic. I appreciate the thumbs up, Dick. And any opposed? All right, fantastic. Seeing no opposition and all ayes, I would like to congratulate Lois for joining our committee. Welcome, welcome. And we look forward to lots of great conversation. All right. All right, so, and then we will circle back and have Luke share a little bit about himself. Luke?
Yeah, hi everyone. Like I said before, I am a planner with the Town and Monuments Planning Department. I fairly new. Our entire department is actually fairly new. We all started at the beginning of the year. This is actually my first planning job. I graduated from college back in December, where I studied environmental design with the focus in urban planning. I have interest in aging in place and accessible transportation. And yeah, I look forward to learning from you all and working with you all. And just like Lois, I was not prepared to speak, but yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Luke. Congratulations on your graduation and on your job. And I'm sure you're going to do amazing work. So looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. So next on the agenda is community guest and provider presentations. And with us, we have the executive director, Anne Rajewski. I don't want to mispronounce your last name. Can you tell it to me one more time?
Yeah, it's Rajewski,
Rajewski.
but apparently my husband's grandma said Rajewski, so you're not out of line. So it's all good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. Well, then the time is yours.
Great. Thanks so much for having me come today to share a little bit about CASTA and maybe more pertinent for you all, the RTAP grant that we administer. CASTA is the Transit Association for the state of Colorado. We have about 55 members around the state of agencies ranging from RTD, our largest agency, Mountain Metro, one of the second largest agencies in our state, as well as rural agencies like La Junta Transit in La Junta, Colorado, or Dolores County Senior Services in Dolores County. So we also have resort agencies that are members. So we run the entire gamut of types of agencies here in the state. As part of our services, we do some work at the state capitol. We also advocate at the federal level. Typically at the state level, it's technical bills or funding. And at the federal level, we're really looking at funding and making sure Colorado draws down as much funding as possible for transit in the state. We also administer the Rural Transit Assistance Program for the state of Colorado, which I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute. And the other thing we've been doing last year and this year is administering the Zero Fare Program for agencies other than RTD in the state of Colorado. What I really wanted to focus on today, though, was RTAP. That's a federal program that gives money to each state to spend on training rural transit providers. And rural is defined by funding sources. So we're talking about agencies that get 5311 funding, rural transit funding here in the state. The funding CASTA gets, we use to provide training at our two conferences we provide a year, as well as local and regional training opportunities as webinars, all sorts of venues, whatever seems most appropriate for the training topic and the time of the year it is. Our conferences are in spring in May, which this conference will start May 9, the Spring Training Conference in Pueblo, Colorado, not too far from you all. So if you end up checking out our conference schedule and want to attend something, it's still, registration is still open. So feel free to join us for that. Our fall conference is in September. Spring conferences are usually along the Front Range and fall conferences are in resort areas. We have, we provide quite a bit of training there. We'll have Transit 2, which is an advanced transit training for transit administrators. We also have things like alcohol and drug manager training, as well as things like this time, I think one of the most interesting sessions will come to us from the Texas Transit Institute, and they're doing some work around how do you do performance measures that aren't just numbers of people in seats. So how can we expand the story of transit to tell a little bit more about what people are accessing and what value that has to the community, as well as the people that are able to access their needs. So some interesting topics this time around. We also provide technical assistance on a larger scale and also a small scale. So small transit agencies can come to us and say, hey, we don't have a human resources person on staff and we really need someone to make a legal assessment of our human resources or employee handbook or a human resources policy. And you know, we know a lot of agencies in the state have small staffs and they don't have experts on every topic it takes to run a transit agency. So we can provide small grants for agencies to be able to access that technical assistance. We also do some larger projects. This year, we're working on a project with the state of Washington to put together to update a volunteer program program development handbook, which I think will be really interesting. We'll have stuff to go back to when developing a program like that at a national level. We also have a little email list we use called Ask a Transit Professional, very low tech, easy, but we send out questions on that email list on an as needed basis to a group of transit professionals from around the state with questions like, how many folks allow dogs on their vehicles that are not service animals? What rules do you have around those? Who has a policy for this? Who has a policy for that? And so it's a great way to get information from colleagues around the state. And that's something that you all would have access to if you're interested, if you're running any sort of transit or transportation for folks. You're welcome to jump on that list. Just let me know. We also have an e-newsletter that talks about different training opportunities, other hot topics or things that come out around transit and providing transportation in our communities. And you're welcome to join that e-newsletter as well. The other thing I wanted to mention here today is that there's also funding from this RTAP federal pot of funding that goes to the national RTAP group, and they have quite a bit of training online that agencies and service providers can access for free. So there's a lot of, you know, if you wanted to set up GTFS for your system on Google Maps, they have a GTFS 3 webinar training to use their tool that helps you put all that information together. They have all sorts of other training for drivers and administrators of transit programs. So a lot of resources available. I think CASTA acts as a resource too. If you're not sure where to get what you need, feel free to give us a call here at our offices or drop us an email, and we're happy. we don't really know the answers, but we often know who knows the answer and can direct you to where you need to go to get the information you need. So we do a lot of that sort of networking among different agencies in the state. Any questions about that? What we provide. We also provide scholarships. So if you have a person who's providing, if a transit provider is interested in getting some training, either at CASTA, some other organization in the state, or beyond the state, we have scholarship funds set aside for travel and registration and that kind of thing. And you do not need to be tap any of these RTAP services. You do not need to be a CASTA member. It's a federally funded program. So as long as your organization falls within the guidelines, we can provide service. So any questions for me?
And I just had a really quick question. So if one wanted to submit something and potentially present at the CASTA conference, who would be the best person to contact for that?
That would be me.
Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I would love to hear about what's going on in your neck of the woods. We have committees for human service transportation providers, as well as we have a CMAT committee, which is more for mobility managers and people who do mobility work within their jobs. And both of those committees, we often have presentations at, but we also do broader panel sort of discussions at conference sessions. So I'd love to hear if you have a project that you think would be interesting to share with the group.
Thank you for that. Sounds like fabulous resources and an amazing way to kind of plug in and connect with everybody who's out there. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deanna?
Yes.
This is Diana from Teller Senior Coalition, and several of us are members of CASTA, and I just want to say they do a fantastic job of supporting transportation in Colorado. Ann and Joey are fabulous, easy to work with. And the membership for CASTA is, Colorado transit providers, but also transit related businesses. And it's just a fantastic resource. So we appreciate Ann very much.
Thanks, Diana.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Anyone else have any questions for Ann? Okie dokie. All right.
I have a question. How can we reach Ann?
Oh,
Contact.
why don't I will drop my email address, our website address, and my phone number in the chat. Does that work for you?
Wonderful. Perfect.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, then we will move on to number 8, training, information sharing, coordination opportunities. So we have PPACG, the ARPA, and NOFA.
And I'll jump in and talk about the ARPA a little bit, but I also want to make a reminder, because sometimes we forget when we get done with these brief announcements, to go around the room and have all the organizations give their updates and share too, because I keep forgetting to do that when we get done. And our last couple of meetings were really busy, so that also contributed too. Okay, so this is Melissa with the Pikes Peak Area Agency on Aging. And we have received some ARPA funding through the Area Agency on Aging and are in the process of having an open NOFA at this point in time for organizations to apply for funding with us. This funding is for infrastructure only, so it's not for ongoing programming. So really important for organizations that want to apply for that to make sure that it's kind of a, it's some type of a project that they want to get up and running, and then they'll have continued funding to carry that forward. Or it's, literally looking at buying new equipment, upgrading office equipment, whatever that might be for kind of infrastructure development. And so the NOFA is out and you can find it on our website. One of the places you can locate it is in the area where we have kind of recent news over kind of on the right-hand side of our website. There's a link. And then at the very bottom of our website is another link for the Notice of Funding Availability, the NOFA. And that is, normally the Area Agency on Aging has a group of contracted providers that we work with. Many of you guys are part of MCC, but this actual NOFA is available to people to organizations that we are not currently contracted with. So it is a very novel new thing that we have that available for folks. And so we very well could be seeing proposals come to us from organizations that are not currently contracted providers. So we're looking forward to those coming in. The due date for that, I believe, is May 10th. So it is a pretty quick turnaround. Part of why we're doing that is because we really wanted to be able to tell our contracted providers who are getting transportation dollars from us and AAA dollars from us whether their projects are going to be approved through this ARPA funding, because then they can do kind of a different ask with other funding that we have out there. So we really wanted to make that happen pretty quickly. We have been talking with a lot of folks in the region about this funding for the past probably 6 months. So we do have some idea of some of the projects that are going to be coming through, which is good. So Jody Barker can be kind of looking at, kind of some ballpark figure of, dollars that are coming through. When the NOFA closes, we actually have our Regional Advisory Council that has a subcommittee that will be reviewing all of those proposals and making recommendations for the funding going forward. So we're excited to see that come to be and looking forward to reviewing the applications that come in. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Yes. Do you know how much money is available?
So we have about $1.7 million. Yep. And the funding, it has quite a long shelf life. So we have to have projects approved by September. And then, the expenditures of the money and the drawdown for the different projects is 2 years out from that. So it is quite far-sighted, which is great. But we definitely wanted to get people's planning ideas and things that they want to do, just get it moving along. Other comments, questions? Okay. Well, thanks.
All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through A, B, and C, and then I've just kind of put a placeholder for D for updates on everybody else. So number B will be our CDOT update. Is that you, Glenn? I'm not sure who's giving our CDOT update.
I'm not sure either. We have different members that come in and out, but I will give a quick one.
Fantastic.
We're getting the 5311 funds out after a delay, as some of you know, and they are going out to area transit operators. I just saw one this morning. I saw a couple last Friday. So they're coming out. I will be at CASTA too, by the way, on May 9th through 12th. I will most likely spend some of that time sitting at a table. Last CASTA conference I was at, we had budget constraints here, so I haven't been to probably the last 4 years worth. So when I did do that, I sat at a common table, and just feel free to come over, sit down, and talk. Usually it's a good conversation. We have multiple agencies that will come over, and it's a good opportunity to network and also compare notes. And I will look forward to that and to meeting you. I wasn't really prepared to give much beyond that. There's a lot happening in DTR. So next meeting, I think I can provide a lot more information, but thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm sure everybody is super excited about the 5311 funds rolling on forward. So Number C is the CASTA conference update in Pueblo. Is there anything else more we want to say? I think Anne did a really fabulous job in kind of letting everybody know. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add? All right, hearing and seeing none, we will move on then to my kind of last letter D that I inserted. So we're just going to kind of go around and let everybody kind of give some updates. I will start with our online folks, and I'm just going to call them as I see the little dots. So Diana, you are first.
Thank you. I really don't have any specific updates for this meeting. Thanks.
Thank you. Jacob.
Yep, I just kind of throw out there, we are having our spring service change, which will take effect this Sunday. We didn't do anything major with it, just kind of remind folks that the Route 36 in Manitou will start back up. And then we have an additional Route 33 bus that goes into Manitou as well for the weekend service that services the COG and the incline. And we did make one minor adjustment to one of our routes, Route 2. Will now go down Centennial. If some of you may recall, that opened up last year in the fall. And we are now going to be moving our Route 2 down Centennial and taking that route. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Other than that, that's kind of what we got going on here.
Excellent, thanks. Yep. And Luke, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'll just say that our planning department is happy and excited to jump on any initiatives. We know that transportation is a huge issue up here, especially as medical services expand up here, and we do have a larger aging population that I don't think has been recognized in the past, but our planning department is definitely recognizing it now. And, we're happy to work with whoever to expand transportation and just accessibility overall.
Fantastic. We really appreciate that. Chelsea.
No updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosa.
Hello. So we have a lot going on in Fountain. We have a couple of our dispatchers going to the Costa Spring conference in Pueblo. We're looking at fair reconstruction in the city of Fountain. We're upgrading our training and participating in some more public outreach. And another thing, I reached out to Rocky Mountain ADA, and they have these little pocket guides for, people in the health and emergency to communicate with the deaf and hard of hearing, and also with law enforcement to communicate with the deaf and hard of hearing. So I reached out and asked them if they could do one for transportation so we could give to our bus drivers. And they're looking into that, which we're really excited about that, getting some little pocket guides to give to our drivers. And also in Fountain, we're going to be expanding our route once we get our new King Supers in. But that's about it in Fountain.
That's great. Sounds like a lot. All right, Dick, you're up next.
Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. It's interesting hearing what everybody's doing. Hey, no, we're just plugging along, doing our stuff. We got a couple vehicles we're waiting on. Besides that, we're just kind of keeping our head above water. That's about it.
Fantastic. Paul.
I have nothing to update with you guys, but thank you.
All right, thank you. Kristen.
Hi, everyone. Not too many updates, but we do have someone that left our organization, our transportation manager for our Good Wheels public transportation program did take another opportunity. So we do have a job posting on our website for a transportation manager. That would be our Medicaid program. Primarily it's NEMT, but it is the Good Wheels vehicles that you see on the road. And then with our day programs, Voyages is for seniors and Possibilities is for individuals with disabilities. We would just love to get people back into tour and kind of remember that we're there. Our census is kind of down. And yeah, so if you think of anything in the community or people want to host meetings there, they're really cool facilities that we would love to get people back in the building. Thanks.
Thank you. Emily.
Emily's with Fountain. So I just updated for both of us.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? Okay, fantastic. We are moving right along. Items for next meeting.
How about in the room?
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. I like focused on the little bubbles. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Keeping me in line. It is a group effort. Okay. Lois.
I really don't have anything. You just want to know what the resource exchange is doing?
Yes, please.
Well, we're in the middle of bringing on new board members. So that'll be a decision that'll be made. And we are definitely getting more involved in the legislative process. In fact, we have some people testifying today on the housing bill. I spoke to Melissa about it already, and of course we have, I would say probably me on one side and everybody else on the other, but keeping priorities for that organization straight, and then other organizations, they will frequently clash, I believe. And we're just looking forward to getting more involved here. There's another man from Teller, I think, we're going to try to get him involved. I believe you have room for somebody from Teller, and he would represent probably Teller, former commissioner. And since he can, go remote, it'll be convenient for him, and he's very interested, involved. So that's kind of where we're at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mary.
Thank you. I don't really have anything to add. Cripple Creek Transit is doing well. I did drive a bus from down in Woodland Park at daybreak out to the Senior Coalition, so they'll be having a new bus. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in Pueblo at the Casca conference. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah.
And then I'll give one more update for people who may or may not know. May is Older Americans Month. This is an opportunity that's put out every year by the Association for Community Living to remind folks to think about the benefits of having older adults in our world. And so the PPACG board did adopt it as a resolution at the April meeting. And so it will kick off in May, and I'll just mention a couple of highlights of the Older Americans Month. So for folks who focus on serving older adults, you might want to kind of think about a couple of these things over the course of May, maybe even jot down some ideas, send out some Facebook posts, maybe do a press release, whatever kind of might fit. But with this month of May, the theme is Aging Unbound. And it is encouraging all of us to create opportunities to share stories and learn from each other, emphasize the many positive aspects of aging, inspiring older adults to push past traditional boundaries, exploring innovation in nutrition and transit services for our region, and embrace our community's diversity. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of subject line items for people to kind of think about over the course of May, and take a moment to just reflect on what we're doing and how older adults benefit our region. So thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will just give a really quick update from the Independence Center. This week, we had the privilege of hosting NADTC, talking about the pilot program for the on-demand transportation component. We are also actively engaging in conversations about doing some comparative analysis to get some better numbers and understanding of where some of the gaps and opportunities are for transportation in Colorado Springs. So to that end, we partnered with a fabulous grad student who was doing her master's in public administration and asked her to do a comparative analysis / case study comparing Fort Collins transportation with Colorado Springs. So we're very excited to see the results of that project. And then just to let you know, I myself am finishing my master's in public health in a couple of weeks. And I also am working on a transportation assessment, looking specifically at older adults and people with disabilities. So I am creating essentially a checklist and have been kind of fortunate enough to touch base with some of you that are on this call regarding some of your input. Again, looking at how we can kind of improve and streamline and make things more efficient and effective for populations that we serve. So yes, in fact, I do live and breathe transportation all the time in all aspects of my career and life. So that's my update.
Melissa, is there a place for those that has those 5 points that you talked about?
There is. So if you literally type in Older Americans Month 2023 into your browser, it'll most likely take you to the information about Older Americans Month. It is through the ACL, Association for Community Living. So as you look on your, look on the website, look for the, acronym ACL or Association for Community Living, and you'll go there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Fantastic. All right.
Deanna?
Yes, ma'am.
This is Diana from Teller Senior Coalition. I did want to announce that our Senior Expo and Symposium is this Saturday, April the 29th. It is from 9 to 2 at the Woodland Park Community Church in Woodland Park. So if anyone is interested in attending that, we have a lot of vendors and speakers planned for that.
That's great. Thank you so much. It sounds like a really good time. And is it Saturday and Sunday? Can you remind me?
It's just on Saturday,
Just
9
on
to
Saturday.
2.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Mhm.
All right. Fantastic. Anyone else have some amazing information to share? Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, I think that wraps us up for the day. Thank you all for making your time this morning to join us. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the input and the robust conversation, and I'm super excited about everybody's updates. It sounds like we've got some great stuff coming along as the weather gets warmer. So we will see. So on that note, it is 10:15. I will adjourn us. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week and be well.